name is Francisco. My name is Francisco Borelli. I'm the vice chair of the MEng program. I apologize for my background. We had an issue with Zoom. I'm traveling. Um, but I'm here to tell you, me and Isabel, to tell you about more about the program and answer any questions you might have. Let me start sharing a few slides. So, Isabel, do we start or we wait for a few more people?
I You can start, please.
Okay, okay. So let me start sharing a set of slides. Okay. So Isabel, you can see the slides?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. I will do it's gonna work like this. Very short introductions, 10, 15 minutes from me. You're going then have Mrs. Blanco tell you about more about the degree requirements. We usually have a capstone example list from Professor Gomez. Professor Gomez is not available today. Has recorded a video for you. And Isabel, have we shared that or we are going to play that after your presentation?
I've already sent it out to all of
Perfect.
the admitted students.
Perfect.
Yep.
And so what we recommend is you look at this video. It gives you an overview of your capstones of what has been done so far in terms of highlights. If you have any questions, if you have looked at it and you have questions today, I'll be happy to answer technical or organization questions. If you haven't looked at it yet, so please after this meeting, have a look at the videos and just write to us if you have any questions regarding either specific capstones or requirements for certain capstones. You see a QA and end. We are going to have QA. My presentation is pretty open, so stop me, interrupt me anytime. Similar with Mrs. Blanco presentation. So I'll present, you ask me a question, Isabel will present, you ask Isabel questions, and then we are done. So we are one of the oldest university in the country in the United States. It's a public university. You see pictures here from the campus in 1868. Our campus today is gorgeous. If you have seen them with Google Maps, this is where we are located. If you let me look at the pointer. This is a pointed. This is a map of the Berkeley and the Berkeley Marina. From the Campanile, you have this view here. There is a Golden Gate. There is Alcatraz. You have the campus is this area here that I'm pointing. Up here in the hills, you have Berkeley Lab. National Lab is one of the United States national labs, and Berkeley collaborates a lot with the Berkeley Labs, as well as there are some capstones that actually run with the Berkeley Labs. We also have here in this side, this is called Richmond Field Station. For many of you that will be working on solar or maybe on self-driving cars, some of the experiments that require, or maybe on ocean, some of the experiments that require large facility, large spaces are actually run at Richmond Field Station. There is a bus or shuttle that brings you to Richmond Field Station. It's the top public university in the United States. We have 107. This is actually needs to be updated. Nobel Prize 22 are still on campus, either as emeritus or as actually working professors. And probably, if you are recently, there was a Netflix series on Jennifer Doudna about CRISPR. You can, if you actually, it's a very interesting series, and I recommend you watch it. You look at it. Also, you'll have a feeling how is life on campus. We What about me? I am the vice chair for the MEng program. So the mechanical engineering is a department within the College of Engineering. The College of Engineering has several departments, including ECS, Electrical Engineering, Computer Science. Actually, we have the second largest department in the College of Engineering. Our department is a chair that takes care of all the affair of the department, and the chair nominates vice chair for different major areas. I am the vice chair for this program. The program is the largest graduate program in our department, so we really take care of this program. in every aspect, from educational, from managing, making sure that your life is easy. And so what I do actually, if you want to, what I do, I work in controls and AI. So for instance, last year, I should update this slide because I just gave a new plenary, but this is a plenary of the American Control Conference that I was giving, where I was talking about automatic control. What does it mean to design controllers in their artificial intelligence? You can watch, I will share these slides with you. You can watch this, my videos, you can hear more about the type of research that I do. As I mentioned, the top public university in the United States, and even when compared with actually the private university, we rank extremely well. It goes between second, we keep oscillated between second and third in the United States. This is the Bay Area. Um, Let me point to take my pointer again. Just to give you an idea, that's the bay. Okay, that's you have ocean here. This little opening here is the Golden Gate. We are here. You have in within 20 miles in San Francisco today. You can take way more self-driving car rides. It's extremely futuristic, and many actually of the engineers from my lab go and work at Waymo at their cruise. Silicon Valley is down here. Stanford is here. You have the Napa Valley, and you have nice hikes right off the Berkeley campus here. So you can walk up the hills 10 minutes, and you have a beautiful hike to relax your after your afternoons. If you go and look at your longer pictures, skiing, beautiful. This is usually when I make this presentation. The reason why I talk about this, I am Italian as a background. I've left Italy 25 years ago, and there's only in another place. I still love my Italy. It's beautiful, but this is really the only place where I wanted to live outside Italy. It's just gorgeous. So looking about the program now, it has really three pillars: a core leadership curriculum, a capstone project. So the core curriculum will give you 8 units, a capstone project with 5 units, and 12 units from the mechanical engineering department, which are based on your technical specialty. And Mrs. Blanco will go through in details of all these requirements. I'll be here and she'll be here to answer any of your questions. So you'll be able to choose between from 8 concentration of your technical specialties. I'm going to talk a little bit about the concentrations here in a second. We have advanced energy technology, we have aerospace, we have applied science and technology, we have biomechanics, control and robotic autonomous systems, fluid and ocean, MEMS, nano, mechanics and dynamics. We have simulation and modeling of advanced manufacturing process, product design, and a new concentration sport engineering sciences. So each concentration, the program, just make sure program, go flipping the slides, all this is the structure, and Isabel is going to explain the structures. What the concentration does is it only changes the type of technical courses that you can choose from. Okay, and this concentration will be actually you're gonna get a diploma. This concentration will be you can refer to concentration in your curriculum and will guide you through your job searches. So I'm going to, I think this just gives you an overview. What I'd like you, Isabel is going to tell you more about the core leadership, the technical requirement. Let me give you a little bit about capstone project idea and overview. So, just to give you an idea of a past year, this 2024, 2025. We had around 40 projects from 15 supervisors. Each project roughly is between 3 and 5 students, and they're extremely popular. The mechanical engineering project, typically, we have other students from other departments taking our own project. And the reason why they are popular is because there's this mix of foundation technology and hands-on. So I'll give you an idea, as example for some of the capstone project that I run, but it's really all this idea of joining the mechanical side as well as the computer science and the AI side of it. So, Isabel, what I'll do here, I'll stop for a sec. Maybe I'll tell you, I'll do one thing. I'll tell you more a bit, so give an example of a capstone project. I'll stop for 5 minutes for Q&A about what I've presented. And then Mrs. Blanco is going to tell you more about the degree requirements. So just to have an idea, so again, as I said, I am the faculty lead for the MEng program. Without Isabel, I wouldn't be able to find this program would not exist. So it's really the department advisor for the program and manager is Isabel. We also have a director of student service, William Horta, that will be answer any questions that you have regarding the student service aspect of the program. So let me tell you a little bit more, just to give an idea about it's an example of a robotic capstone project. And again, for people that just joined, Mrs. Blanco has shared with you a presentation for Professor Gomez. He manages a number of capstones projects, and what is put together for you is a list of past capstone projects to give you an idea on the type of research that we do. And the reason why I'm focusing on capstone because it really is a very enriching experience, and many of students decide to come at them to join our program is actually for two reasons. One of because this mix of leadership and the technical specialty, and the other one is because of this experience that you got through the capstone project. And of course, reason number zero is that Berkeley is the top public university in the United States. So going back to my example here, what you see here is a solar power plant, and these are today, we work with a company which is called Next Tracker, is the leading provider of solar trackers. What you see here are actual panels, and they are called rows. These panels they point at the sun they are connected to each other to generate solar energy. So a plant like this, these are massive. Our industrial partner usually industrial partner installs these plants all around the world. Just to give an idea, we're talking about generation up to from 100 megawatt to 1 gigawatt. So we decided, what if we run a capstone project on building these solar power plants with robots? Okay, and so the new this was a platform we built with another startup called Terabase. The idea here is that you would self-drive and autonomous driving through the plant, and you would actually then have robots like humanoids install the solar panel on this big solar field. So what we did here, this is a capstone project focused on control. This is one of my area. The Capstone team put together algorithms that went from routing to planning to perception to actually automate the maneuvering of this rover through the solar power plant. So it's a capstone project. It starts from a design, from an idea, and then goes into the technical implementation of routing, planning, and control algorithms. And these architectures here that you see here actually very similar to self-driving car architectures. Okay, they it was a very hands-on project. So they designed the system, they wrote software for it, they test the software in simulation. You see here some of the a picture from the simulator, and actually we got resources for implementing this, buying a laser scanner and doing tests on actual Richmond field station. Okay, so if you ever, I'll I'll go. I have an examples of other capstones projects, but there are our program is very rich in design, in thermal, in all the area that you've seen before. So after MEng, we have a number of students that go either to graduate students in other universities, okay, as well as companies that you see in this list. So these are actually it's not even updated now. So if you go on the Fang Institute website, you'll see all the list of companies that they've hired from the MEng program in the past 3 years. So again, there is the life after MEng could be in the form of going to a company. Most of these are in Silicon Valley, and people they come to Berkeley, they really want to stay around Silicon Valley, or they love a graduate study so much they try to get to other school for a graduate program. The other concentrations areas, as I gave you an example of capstone projects in on controls. There is very interesting and beautiful project in biomechanics, which, for instance, capstone on computation, diagnosis and treatment of cardiovascular problems, as capstones on exoskeleton, so robotic devices that assists paraplegic or tetraplegic, capstone of tissue engineering, okay, capstones on aerial robotic, capstone on industrial robotics. Uh, just another examples, and I'll stop there on energy science and technology. For people that are in this area, you will have capstones and studies on combustion fires and propulsion in space. You might have studies and capstones, class and capstone talk about predictive modeling in a data centers or predictive model in energy dispatch center. Nanoscale heat transfer is actually is a class that people in from MEng usually might take and do a capstone in this area. So again, I'll go. I will be able to answer any questions that you have technically on these topics. But I think most important today, I would like to get Isabel to speak about your requirements for for the degree. Um, I think let's stop here. Just remind you if you want to take us, we'll share these slides with you. Our contacts. So this is me, Mrs. Blanco, and Mr. Orta. And I'll stop here for a second and take questions, and then Mrs. Blanco will tell you about requirements of the program. Any questions for me now?
You can put your questions in the Q&A, or you can unmute yourself and ask a
Yeah.
question.
Okay, I see Ken process about projects look like and its possible project collaboration with companies. Very good question. So there is a matching process. We have actually been designing this matching over the past 5 years. There is an algorithm. So you'll be provided, we faculty will design capstone project for you. We start actually this month, and the capstone project will be delivered to the Fang Institute in the before you start. So it's going to be a list of capstone projects delivered by the faculty to the Fang Institute. And this capstone project might be only with research labs. So for instance, this year I'm running two capstone projects that have only with my lab, or like in past years, I've done capstone project with Terabase or Nextrack with big companies. So faculty will suggest to the Fang Institute a list of capstone projects, either with research labs or with companies. Then you apply for a capstone project, so you will give your preference. Okay, so there is I like capstone A, that's my top choice. If I'm not selected for A, capstone B is my second top choice. And then you have, I believe at this point, is three preferences. Then there is a matching algorithm that will assign capstone to projects, excuse me, capstone to students. And then there is an iteration in case students are dissatisfied with their choice. So far, with the choice of the algorithm. So far, satisfaction level is very close to 100% because it's more offering from a capstone project than students' requests. Okay. So is it possible to make project in collaboration with company? Yes, there are projects. faculty will make you will half of the capstone project will be in collaboration with companies, and if that's what you're interested in, you will put your top choice capstone project that are in collaboration with companies. Asal is asking if students get access to computational software, ANSYS-CAD, and SolidWorks. Yes, as a UC Berkeley student, you have access to a list of software which are free to UC Berkeley students. Okay, and this includes, for instance, all the Adobe suite for doing design. Okay, now the in addition to that, there might be capstone projects that require, for instance, access to machining. Okay, my current capstone project requires 3D printing. We are building ground vehicles on a 1 to 10 scale that can morph between a driving vehicle and a unmanned flying vehicle. So in that case, I will pay for 3D print, and you will access to 3D printing. How long did the capstone project last? The capstone project lasts for the whole year, for the whole academic year. You start as soon as the matching is complete, and you will end. You have a final presentation at the end of your the academic year. Capstone video be unlocked. Okay, so
I can
is it?
resend it.
Yeah, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Any more question? So typical amount, Cedric is asking typical amount dedicated to the project. Very good question. Isabel, what will be the number of hours by actually required by the program?
So usually it's anywhere between 1 and 3 hours a week, especially during the fall semester, but it really ramps up in the spring for most capstone projects.
Correct. So the official request, so to the question of Cedric, typical amount, the official request is 1 to 3 hours a week. The reality is that students are really engaged with this project and they spend many, many hours. This is where you're going to learn tools and techniques that they are not taught in class. And so at least for my experiences, this is many, many hours a week, up to 10, sometimes even 20 on the capstone. Funding is not provided. These capstones are self-funded in the sense they're funded by the faculty or the company. And so, yes, going back to the question of Thing U, so the capstone will have certain requirements, and the faculty or the company will make sure that if you have to 3D print, you'll have access to 3D print. If you have to buy material, there'll be funding to buy material. Yes, we have a makerspace. This makerspace for personal, uh, for so I'm switching some of them. So first, Diego, how does the supervision typically work for the project? Regular biweekly meetings for this. So supervision change it depends on the capstone, okay? And I can explain, for instance, in my case, we have a graduate student, so a researcher from my lab assigned to the capstone team, and they meet twice a week, and they will meet once a week with me for 1 hour. Okay. If you have a capstone which is led by an industry, you will agree that, but in general, it's not less than a single weekly meeting. Okay. It's one weekly meeting or more. So this was about Diego. Manu is asking access to campus makerspace for personal project. Not for personal projects. The makerspace, we have a campus makerspace, and you will have access in two parts. One, it's either you take a class that requires the makerspace, or your capstone project requires access to makerspace. So if a class or the capstone project requires the makerspace, yes, you will have access to it. What does the final presentation look like? This is from Josette. The final presentation, there are two forms of it. It looks like a presentation of by the team, 10 minutes. So you're going to deliver a report, and there's 10 minutes per each member of the team delivered in a room where the two faculty that sign off the capstone project are present. There is also another form, like a recording of a video. It's still a video that for the team is between 30 minutes and 1 hour that then is sent to the two faculty that they are evaluating the project. Um, I was at Josette. Then there is Tajong G. Can we have some of the machine stop or left for the capstone project? Again, any requirements for the capstone project, anything that you require to succeed for the capstone project will be provided to you by either the faculty that is the lead of the capstone project or the company that's leading the capstone project. So the capstone project will have certain goals, and if the goals does require machine shop, of course you will have access. If you're if this is a software only or simulation only, then you will not have access to this machine shop. You will have access to the software license in order for you to be successful for the capstone project. That's Araf. Can you give more examples of companies sponsor mechanical engineering? That's a very good question. I think the a good list. Uh, Let me see if I can find last year list of capstone projects. Maybe Isabel, can you send that to me? And maybe after you are presenting, I can go. Um, do we have the list of the capstone industrial sponsor capstone project of last year? Araf, let me get back to you.
Let me get back to Arav. I can send him the list.
Yes. So we
Okay.
have this is all documented out of we can list tell you all the company that sponsored Capstone project last year. So of course every year changes, right?
Yeah.
This year we might have new sponsors, we might have some sponsors that don't sponsor anymore. Milit is asking, what would you say are the most important technical skills to develop prior to beginning the capstone project? That's a very good question because it does depend on the capstone project. You understand it's a mechanical engineering department might mean capstone project on robotics, a lot of control, feedback control, or might mean a capstone project on design, a lot of design work, might be in a capstone project of nanothermal, so you need a lot of skills on thermal modeling, right? So this is all, it strongly depends on your capstone project, and that's why you have the 12 technical core 12 units of technical so that you can select the classes that will make you succeed during the capstone project. Now, on top of that, there is of course, there will be always requirement on the majority requires programming. And Isabel, I don't know if Gomez is offering his programming Python class this year on AI and programming. Usually, Professor Gomez will offer a class for people that are not familiar with Python on Python. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. Dr. Gomez will have a course offered in the fall and the spring, and Professor Carey also offers a course 249 every fall.
Yeah. Siddharth is asking, and again, sorry, I see a long list here. I'm going through the order. Okay, this I'm the 12:35, so I'm 5 minutes behind. Siddharth is asking, how much prior experience is typically expected to be considered for a capstone project? Is there a possibility without direct experience? Very good question, Siddharth. My experience is that uh, there is faculty and companies adjust to the experience of the student, right? So I've been in capstone project, been super successful because there was the right prior experience. I've been in capstone project where the students joined, they thought they will knew how to do X, Y, and Z, and the reality was much more complicated. And so what happened is that the deliverables and the deadlines were changed according to the student experience. So I would say that my experience, we have been doing this for many, many years, is that faculty and companies adjust to the student once the match has been done. Hopefully, the matching works in a way that the students can really contribute meaningfully. If for some reason there is a mismatch between expectation and actual skills, then the deliverables are adjusted. Cedric is asking the ratio of companies uh, versus laboratory-led projects. Isabel, 50, yes, correct, 50-50. That is in I suspect will be the same for this year. There's almost, it could be even a bit more on the company side. Can you choose a team? You cannot say I want to be in that team. Okay. Also, you cannot say I want to be with student X. There is a matching algorithm because many of the capstone projects require multi skills. So, for instance, with my project, we needed a person expert on controls. We need a person expert on design. So this is what the matching algorithm and the matching process does. Okay. That was Rachel. Ken Aydin is asking if it's possible to propose a new project. No, you don't propose capstone project. Capstone projects are proposed by faculty. Okay, there will be a list which is finalized by the time you come to campus. Claudia is asking if you can take more courses. Isabella answered that. Yes, you can take additional courses. Uh, Santano is asking, sorry, Shantano is asking, has there been occurrence where students involved in an industry-led capstone project being recruited by the same company? I think this is a question for the Fang Institute. We don't follow the department takes care of the capstones and the teaching the technical course, the industry and the hiring, the life after MEng. That's what the Fang Institute does. But I think the answer is yes. I know at least of one case happened in a capstone that I was involved with. But having statistics, maybe Isabel, can we have statistics for Fang Institute? How many students are hired by the same company that sponsored the capstone project?
Yeah, that's would be a fun
Yes,
question. Yeah.
if we can ask
Um,
that for Fang, so it would be nice.
okay.
Uh, when are the offer courses in spring and winter announced for this year? Isabel?
Um, yeah, I have the fall tentative list, which I can send out.
Okay. So regarding the spring and winter course, Isabel is already has a list. It's tentative, meaning sometimes last
It
minute
changes.
professor gets sick, and so there's not much. We don't have control over that. So I would say in general there's a 10% change around that. But Isabel will share with you the current offered courses. Can you take courses outside your concentration, or can you change concentration? I think Isabel, you're gonna answer that question in
Yes.
your presentation. So Samantha Friedman, wait regarding this. You're gonna hear a lot about this from Mrs. Blanco in 5 minutes. Um, can you speak to the difference between faculty-led and industry-sponsored project? How do you decide which path is beneficial for you? That's a very good question, and it is how you decide which path. It really depends on your career. So at this point, you will look at the list, and the list will tell you this this project is sponsored by Professor X. This project is sponsored by Company Y. This project is sponsored by Professor X plus Company Y. So at this point, Nishant, you will first of all you have to look at what your interests are. Do you want to study robotics? Do you want to do a project on design of a certain machinery? So first of all, think about what your interest really, where your heart is, and second, then if you have multiple options at that point, clearly, if you want to stay, you want to go for a graduate status, it's possible that working with a lab at the university would actually be beneficial. If you want to go and work for a company that you really love and is sponsoring a project, that would be something that there would be benefits in actually working already on a capstone project for that company. Alexander is asking if it's allowed to contact a professor and work as a research assistant concurrently with MH degree. Uh, it's not disallowed. I mean, you can try to do that. I can tell you that it's the MH degree is extremely intense, and you will not have time to do research plus MH studies plus the capstone project. think about the best way to do that. Work with a capstone project with the professor that you want to contact with. So if there is a Professor X that you're really interested in, you can contact him and say, are you offering any capstone project? Here is my curriculum. And, I think will be beneficial. My background will be very beneficial to your capstone project. So, because remember that in the matching process, you will select your priorities, but also professor will say, we believe that student X will be very successful in my capstone project. And so by contacting the professor, you might actually uh, uh, tell him, you might communicate that it might be that your curriculum really fits this capstone project. I would not recommend, I recommend doing a capstone project and on top of that, doing research with another professor. But it's not disallowed. We don't stop that. Is that correct, Isabel?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can contact professors and ask them questions about their labs. Maybe that will give you a better idea of their capstone project and if you want to work with them. But it's very rare for MEng students to do research with faculty. That's not considered a part of their capstone project.
Claudia is asking about you take more courses and does it change your tuition? You can enroll a maximum of 20 units. That's Isabel is also going to talk about that. I don't think the tuition will change. Is that correct, Isabel?
Right.
Yeah, the
And
tuition is still the same.
enrollment for new students starts in July.
Correct.
Yep.
You mentioned pursuing further graduate studies. Berkeley take MEng for MS PhD. So MEng is already a graduate program. There are cases where MEng students are actually converted to PhD, so to a PhD program. In fact, in my career, my personally has happened already twice. I took two MEng student and they transferred to a PhD. Is not super common, meaning it's not like 50%. So it is, I would say, a 1% or a 2% type of ratio because I mean you guys are extremely lucky. I forgot to actually congratulate with all of you because we had a high number of applicants and this year has been very competitive. So we believe that the level of our program is really, really solid. And so it's possible that this year the percentage might go higher so that actually there more students will be converted from that are interested might be converted from MH to PhD. Um, Khan is asking, so that was Jakob. Khan is asking if it's difficult to get into ME classes and do ME students get priority enrollment, Isabel?
Yes, so MEng students do get enrollment priority in most of the 200 level courses for MEng MEng classes. So if it's on the list that I'm going to be sending out shortly, you should have enrollment priority.
Very good. I caught up with a lot of questions. Welcome, Khan. Any more questions? Alexander, what are the general steps to take to transfer to a PhD after MNG degree? So the steps is to talk to the professor that you are interested in. PhD admission have been extremely um, reduced because of the funding situation in United States. So the professor that you want to do a PhD with is really the person that you have to contact, and most important, not contact the last minute. I recommend you contact already, possibly almost at the beginning, expressing intention, beginning of your studies, as I mentioned, or no later than the first semester, right? So, and at that point, you can have a feeling if that professor is hiring, what type of profile is looking for the year after, and ideally, I mean, your capstone project is already with him, right? So the most, and maybe only the only cases that I've seen this working is where your capstone project is already with the professor that you want to do a PhD with, because at that point your professor is actually following, already knows your skills and your capabilities. Diego is asking if the tuition fees will be similar or would expect changes, Isabel.
We don't know. The campus usually posts the fall registration fees for the academic year in July after they have their big academic senate meeting. We haven't been told to expect any changes, um, but things are changing daily. Um, again, we just don't know.
So sorry, Diego, didn't have
Yeah.
better question. But it last year we can give you statistics. Last year the increase was small. There was no increase.
There was no increase
Last year there
last
was an
year
increase. Yeah.
from the year
So
before, but the year before the health insurance increased by like $300.
okay.
Um,
So
we're
year before $300 2 years ago $300 only health insurance. Last
for the
year no
health,
increase.
no
So
increase.
this year again we done this. We expect to be in this range, right? So
Right.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Asal is asking about normal class sizes. They change a lot depending on your concentration. Robotic and control is very
Is
popular. I will be teaching your first class, and usually that class is around
100.
100 students,
Yeah.
up to 150.
Hmm.
The smaller concentration areas might be between 20 and 30.
Yeah.
So this is the range.
It
Depends on your
just,
concentration area.
yeah.
I want to make sure that Isabel gets through the presentation. So we'll take one more question and then Mrs. Blanco, because you will have also lots of questions regarding
Yeah.
the other part of this. One more question, and then we switch to Mrs. Blanco presentation.
There's a question in the Q&A. Is it possible to defer admission to a future semester? If so, how long can you defer? The graduate division allows you to defer one time for 1 year. So if approved, your deferral will be to start in fall 2026. You would need to email us with the explanation of why you want the deferral. Historically, we've only approved deferrals based on extraordinary circumstances beyond your control. For example, health issues or visa problems. Um, but again, it's on a case-by-case basis. You would need to send us an email first.
Very good.
Yeah.
Isabel, why don't you take the stage and then we'll take more question after you're done.
Okay. I just want to go through the degree requirements, just the highlights, so that you still have time to ask questions. Okay, so first of all, this is a list of all of our 11 areas of concentration. You are admitted into one of these areas. If you have any questions about the area that you were admitted or want to make a request to transfer into a different area, again, send me an email. The department will review your request and then let you know once a decision has been made. Okay, so, sorry. The degree requirements are that you need to complete 25 units in total during the academic year. 12 units must be ME 200 level courses, ideally in your area of concentration. 8 units will be from your Fung leadership courses, and 5 units are going to be your capstone classes. 2 units in the fall and 3 units in the spring. You will also need to complete 2 comprehensive exams, a leadership exam based on your leadership courses, and a technical exam based on the ME components of your capstone project. Okay, so this is a list that I will be sending out probably in the next, before the end of today, which is a list of the fall 2025 tentative courses. I'm not going to go through each class, but this is just a screenshot of the courses by area of concentration. Okay, there should be at least 2 courses in each area of concentration available. Our new area of concentration, applied science and technology, actually allows you to take any of the ME 200 level course in any of the areas. So you need to complete 12 units of ME 200 level coursework. Research courses do not count because they can only be taken for a satisfactory and unsatisfactory grade. Uh, s- just some requirements for the comprehensive technical exam. You need to have at least two committee members in attendance for your oral exam presentation, and you'll be tested on the ME content of your capstone project. You can still have a capstone project in another department, but you will still be tested on the ME contents of your contribution in that capstone project. The Fung Institute actually also has a Tech Plus certificate. This requires that you take two additional technical courses in addition to the 12 units required for the MEng degree. And just a few FAQs. Our courses start 10 minutes after the scheduled start time. It's called Berkeley time. So if your scheduled start time is 11 a.m., the instructor starts the lecture at 11:10 a.m. Can I take technical courses outside the ME department? Yes, but those courses won't be counted towards the 12 units required towards your MEng degree. Um, but they are just additional courses which students are welcome to do. Can I be a GSI, TA, or reader? Yes, but we don't encourage it due to the short period of time that the program is only 2 semesters long and the workload is pretty heavy. Can I change my area of concentration? Yes, again, if you want to make any changes to your area of concentration, you should do so before you enroll in courses because it will affect which courses you're going to be taking. Can I defer admission? Again, if you have questions about deferring admissions, send me an email. We will review your requests and let you know what our decision is. Can I extend the program to a third semester? Unfortunately, the full-time MEng program is a 2 semester degree program. We do not accommodate requests for planned or voluntary program extensions. This was also asked, can I add the PhD program? Yes. After completion of the MEng program, you can request to add the PhD program. Professor Borelli said to contact the faculty as soon as possible, as soon as you're interested in working with them in their lab or helping them with their research. And then there's also a link to change of degree goal on our website. Here's my contact information. I will also be having drop-in Zoom office hours on Monday, April 7th from 2 to 4 p.m., Wednesday, April 9th from 12 to noon, and also from 2 to 4, and Monday, April 14th from 2 to 4. I will be sending out a link with all of this information about the drop-in Zoom. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know in chat or you can ask in the Q&A.
Isabel, do you want me to read them for you? It's
Oh,
we
sure.
the questions. Okay, so we have okay, we have UA. How does our concentration affect this program?
It
Uh,
will, so your concentration actually decides on which courses that you are going to be taking.
yeah, so if you pick your
Yeah.
concentration, there is a list of courses you can take. Are they fair, typical approved for students who wish to gain industry experience before returning to continue to their studies?
Historically, no. Accepting job opportunities is not really it's not in the category of extraordinary circumstances and are not typically approved.
To see that the answer is no.
Yes.
Diego, Diego is asking if I choose to take additional course beyond the program, will they count towards my GPA?
Yes. If you take them for a letter grade, Even though they are not required for the MH degree, they will affect your GPA. So we suggest that you take it for the non-letter grading option, which is satisfactory and unsatisfactory.
Would it be possible, that's Alexander, to access this presentation? Yes, we are recording this, right?
Yes,
We're
yes.
recording it and we'll share the link. Ivan is asking if do you have to take all 12 technical units in your concentration?
So ideally, you would want to take them all in your area of concentration, and many of our courses are interdisciplinary, so they fall under a lot of the different categories, but we do allow you to take the ME courses in another area of concentration as long as you take one in your area of concentration.
So no, but no, they're already technicals are already multidisciplinary. But if you want to even use courses from other technical concentration, you can do that. You need only one from your concentration area. Is that correct, Isabel?
That's
Yeah.
correct, yes.
Asal is asking, the oral and technical exams are in addition to the capstone presentation and each course final exam?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Correct. Jacob is asking, do you have admission statistics, admission, country of origin, and so on?
Um, I'm
Admission
s-
statistics, admissions, country of origin.
we wouldn't have that data for this semester yet, no. I mean, for this admission cycle, yeah. And I'm not sure we can share that.
Yeah, that's I was. This, I'm not sure the program can share the country of origin of the people admitted. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a privacy violation.
Ken, what are some examples of circumstances that are typically accepted for reason of for deferral?
Usually it's for health reasons that pop up. Most of the time, deferrals are approved for visa problems. Um, and we just had a meeting with the Berkeley International office, and unfortunately, there's a lot of unknowns. Visas typically take a long time, but because of the staffing shortages that are happening, um, we expect them to take even longer. Um, and so there's really a lot of unknowns on how long it will be, students will have to get their visas approved. And especially, it depends on your country of origin. Um,
So visa is one. It's one of the major one.
the major reasons, yeah.
Diego is asking, what does the structure of the technical exam look like? It's single. It is a single final exam. Alexander is asking, Alexander is asking, do you have to take specific courses to earn a certificate?
Yes, so you would want to look at the Fung Institute's uh, Tech Plus certificate website, and they actually have 7 different certificates, and you will need to take specific courses listed under those certificates.
Jacob is asking, I saw last year there were courses like a Python course starting in the summer. Will there be anything like this year?
That might have to do with Dr. Gomez's capstone projects, but we don't usually offer courses in the summer for grad students.
Rachel, can we take courses in other areas like EC or CS if they fit our focus?
Yes, they can. They are additional courses. They will not count towards your degree, but just a warning, EECS and CS courses are heavily impacted, and they rarely have slots for students outside of their department.
JDH is asking if it's possible to complete the boot camp online if one is able to be on campus August 11.
Yes, so there'll be sections for the boot camp. They usually have online sections and in-person sections.
Nishant, do we have access to program advisor to help us talk through choosing classes and projects that are best aligned with what we want to do after graduation?
That would be me. So you can contact me. We can set up a Zoom meeting. You can go to my drop-in Zoom office hours. I'll be here all summer. Just contact me.
And in terms of project, you just to make sure the
Mhm.
project there is a matching process for capstone project, and hopefully you will get your choice A. But again, it's you do not say I want to be on this project, right? The match you have to will be the result of the matching. Sadri is asking what is an example of leadership course?
So those are handled by the Fung Institute, and they would be your Engineering 270A and 270B that you take during your boot camp class, boot camp time.
Uh, will the boot camp classes be synchronous so they'll be recorded?
They will not be recorded. They will be synchronous, and participation will be required. So even if they're online, your participation will be required.
Let's see more questions here.
Okay.
Wait 1 more minute. Otherwise,
Mhm.
as Isabel said, Elizabeth, they already know your office hours.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
they have
so
my email. I have been spamming them
good.
with information. Um,
Um,
and again, please send me an email with any questions. I try to get back with you within 24 hours. If you would just like to talk about your questions, please feel free to schedule a Zoom meeting with me.
Thank you everybody for your time and
Mhm.
for listening to us. Good luck with your career, and hopefully you'll join Berkeley. We'll see you
Yes,
in uh, in a few months,
in a
actually.
few months.
But
Yes.
time
Thank
will
you,
tell.
everyone.
Thank you again. Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.